Welcome everybody to the A Little Less Fear podcast. I'm your host for the show, Dr. Lino Martinez. Oh yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to the A Little Less Fear podcast, continuing a Halloween special with real life true ghost stories. I've got Marco Dimas from Los Angeles, California. Holla to Marco Dimas. He's gonna share his real life true real life ghost story. Did I say that right?
Sounded right to me, man. That was
You ain't
perfect.
bluffing. This is the real deal right here.
All right. You want me to just jump in? Let you know what happened?
Tell us exactly how it happened, how it started, what were you doing, what was going on at that time, and just take us till the end.
All right, my man. So basically, about 10 years ago, I was working a lot of freelance gigs, doing stuff like that. And me and my older brother would work on projects together. Okay, so we'd work on like random video editing, putting stuff together, and we'd work from my parents' house. There's like an old office in the house that's close to a living room and a kitchen. They'll play into it later.
Okay.
So, we're at the house. We're pulling like 6 hours editing this video, going back and forth all day. We're coming towards the end of the day and I'm like, all right, man, let me go to the kitchen and I'll go get us some drinks. Okay. So I walk through the bedroom to the living room to the kitchen, get what I need. I walk out of the kitchen. I look over in the living room. I see my dog. My dog's just sitting there staring at the sofa. So I'm like, that's weird, man. Let me go see what he's looking at. So I look over and it's my grandfather. He's just sitting in the chair, staring at the dog.
You mean your deceased grandfather?
My deceased grandfather. He passed probably about 10 years prior to this.
Whoa, 10 years?
10 years. And I've never had experiences like that. Never seen the guy, never felt his energy. And mind you, I'm not getting like warm, fuzzy vibes. I'm kind of scared. So I see it. I'm like, I make my way back to the office with my brother. And I'm obviously shooken up, pale. He looks up at me from the computer and all he says is, "Oh, you saw him too?" It just confirmed that it wasn't a hallucination.
Yeah.
We both had the same experience. And the fact that that guy didn't tell me that he had that experience or warned me, and I just had to walk right into that.
So that was your brother that said that?
That was my brother.
So did your brother see your grandfather on the same exact way you did?
Same exact way I did, but he didn't want to tell me.
And was it that same?
I don't know what he thought that same day.
Wow. What do you make of it?
I have no idea. I think my brother could sense things better than me, even though he doesn't like to or talk about it. He's not that type of person. But the fact that he already went through it, swallowed it, didn't talk about what happened the whole day we were there for 6 hours until he saw that I was just a mess. And he's like, "Oh, like so matter of fact, you saw him too." I was like, what's going on here?
Did you mention that to anybody else, like any of your other family members?
Yeah, I mentioned it to other people in the family, and they're just like, "Whoa, that's trippy." No one ever talks about our grandfather or sees him or feels like he's in the house or anything. So it was kind of just a left field one-time thing that happened to both of us.
Happened with just you and your brother.
Exactly.
And what about that couch that he was sitting on? Was that his couch? Was it an old couch or something? Or
no, it's nothing that he would associate with him. The only thing that might be something that would draw him out, he always liked dogs. he didn't really speak English,
Uh-huh.
but he always got along with all our pets. So the fact that he was hanging out with my dog, that kind of made
True.
sense.
That does make sense.
But to sit in that couch didn't make any sense to where he would sit. It was just
Was it like the time during like his birthday coming up, or was it the holidays, or was it like anything like his anniversary or anything like that?
just middle of the day.
Random anytime during the year.
Yeah, it was just a random weekday during the year, nothing special. During the day, as clear as I see you right now, just
Wow.
sitting there.
Was he looking at you? Was he looking at
Not,
the dog?
he was paying attention to the dog, just looking straight at him.
And since it's been so long, it's just so like I've never usually when I hear like a ghost story, someone has just passed. You know what I mean? So it to me it makes sense that their soul is still kind of like in between lands or whatever. But 10 years is a long time.
10 years. And it's like usually maybe if you're thinking about them, he
Right,
was the
right. Or
farthest
you're
thing from my
thinking about
mind.
them and exactly you could bring their energy back, but it wasn't even like that. Is that the house that was at his house?
Nope. Nope. He had no association. He'd come over, he would help out, but he never lived there. He never had any association with that
Did
house.
he pass away in that house?
Nope. No. No, that house is in San Gabriel Valley. He passed away in City Terrace, like a good 15 miles away. So yeah, he had nothing to do with that house.
And when you saw his ghost or his spirit or his apparition, whatever you saw, did he look like he was like alive? Was there skin color to him, or did he look kind of translucent, transparent?
He looked exactly like I remember him, like being younger at the time. So this was say 10 years ago when this happened, and then another 10 years when he passed. I was pretty young, and I remember him being an old man and having his little slouch and the way he would sit and carry himself. That's exactly how I saw him. As clear as day, not translucent, just there.
Did you ever ask your brother like how many hours ago did you see this, or how many minutes ago? Did you guys ever talk about it, or did you stay silent afterwards?
We kind of stayed silent. I kind of gathered he doesn't like to talk about things like this. It's kind of like I don't want to open up that door.
Yeah.
But from what I take it, it was like an hour earlier. Like it was going on that
Oh,
whole day.
interesting. So if you could go back to that same day, do you think you would stop to try to talk to him or get his attention, or do you think like if you could literally take a time machine to that day, would you make it any different, or would you just follow it through the way you did?
I'd probably do the same thing. I'd like to believe that I'd be a little braver and go talk and be like, "Hey, what's going on here?" I don't know. It really freaked me out.
Yeah, I can imagine. And did you have nightmares and stuff like that afterwards?
Nope.
Did you dream of
No,
nothing?
that
Just that
that
one
was
moment,
just
huh?
that was it. Just that one like brief moment with him and nothing ever since.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
And is he your was he your mom's dad or your dad's dad?
It was my mom's dad.
So when you told her of this experience, did she ever share that she had any apparitions of him or anything like that?
No, no, no one's ever seen him. Like people always tell stories like they dream of my grandma because she was the loving one. She was the one that everybody would kind of gather around.
Uh-huh.
And he was kind of just like the grumpy old guy. But yeah, no one's ever seen him or has a story like that about him. Yeah.
So before seeing the apparition of your grandfather or his spirit soul, however you want to say it, before ever seeing that, did you ever have any other experiences before that, or was that your first and only like encounter?
That was my first like encounter where I actually witnessed like an actual spirit. Like I've had things move and be kind of weird and like weird
Yeah.
coincidences, but that was the first time I actually saw something that was like verifiable. Like you saw it too. There's
Yeah.
no
Oh
there's no
yeah, when
second
other
guessing
people see
this.
it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
verifiable, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not so much like a scary story, but it's a story about how there was enough proof and evidence that made me a believer because my brother saw the same exact thing. And it
Yeah.
wasn't even like me telling him what I saw, but he specifically knew what had happened to me. Like
Wow.
it was crazy.
And so now that you've had this experience, like how has that changed your spirituality or your like your ideas of what happens after you die and stuff like that?
Spiritually, I don't think it's changed me. I don't, I always like to believe that there is something more, that there is an after,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But that it didn't affect me to the core where it was like this reaffirms or says anything
Mm-hmm.
or change my beliefs. It just I don't know. It's just stood out so much about the reality of the situation.
Yeah, right.
Like for me, because I love ghost stories. I think we all love movies and stories, and
Right.
you could
Mystery.
actually have a story that somebody else could take part in and be like, oh, same exact thing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it put a validity on it that I've never had before.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's
Yeah,
more than valid.
yeah, yeah.
And ever since that experience, have you had any other experiences?
Not to that level. Just like coincidence stuff that's kind of like weird, but nothing where it was like factual. Like, most ghost stories are kind of like, I could be pulling your leg. This one I feel is, like, for me, written in stone.
Oh man.
As I saw this, I will go to my grave telling people I saw a ghost. This is true. There are spirits out there. And, anybody who doesn't believe that, I wish they could have experienced this.
Right. That's what I always
Yeah.
think when I have an experience. I wish someone else could be here right now and see this.
Yeah.
Hear
Yeah.
this.
So imagine you, like, you have an
Yeah.
experience,
Right, right.
and then 10 minutes later you talk to someone, and without telling them, they tell you exactly what happened to you. And you're like,
Right.
it
Yep.
was real. It wasn't in my
Yep.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I guess one last question. So, do you feel like you have a connection with your grandfather now after seeing his apparition? Do you feel like you can talk to him or pray to him and know that he will be around or that he is around and maybe
You know what? I like to believe that he was never that close to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think he thinks I was like a little chillon because I was a little crybaby kid. So, I've never really felt it, but I think, like, on a deeper level, he kind of watches out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's like the strong silent type who doesn't
Interesting.
need to be loving or be there, but he's watching.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
He doesn't have to show love, but he's like, hey, I'm here.
Like he's a guardian.
And just show up. Yeah.
Just show up. Hey, I'm here. What's
Yeah,
up?
yeah. Yeah. I don't have to tell you I love you, but I'm there.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think about it that way. Like, he didn't maybe know how to just show love as a kid. I don't
Yeah.
think, like, he wasn't affectionate. And even as a spirit, he's not.
Yeah.
And that's why he's more comfortable with the animals. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? I could be reading too far into
We're
it.
all more comfortable with the animals.
We are. I mean, and the animals are more comfortable with it too. It's just
That's true.
another thing.
Wow, that's been an amazing story. Everyone just heard a real life true ghost story by Marco Dimas from Los Angeles, California. Thank you so much for sharing this awesome, incredible story. I mean, I can picture it all in my head as clear as you describe it, and I believe you 100%. And I think it's actually a really beautiful experience, and hopefully you're not too frightened by it and rather a little more welcoming, because I mean, I imagine that if it takes a lot for us to see them, they probably go through something themselves when they see us,
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that's just amazing that you got to experience that in this lifetime, though. At least thanks so much for sharing on A Little Less Fear podcast Halloween special.
All right. Thank you, Lino, for having me on. Love the podcast. God bless, and we'll see you soon.
God bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, brother. Bye.